there still is an opportunity, and I think there's still relevance.
And I was at your Christian Siriano talk, which is also in this book, one of my favorites, just because I'm such a huge fan of Christians.
Well, I mean, he broke the mold. I mean, what he's done for inclusivity and sizes and dressing women of every size, I applaud him so much. You know, and that tuxedo gown he put on Billy Porter, that
Amazing.
opened up that changed the dialogue for everybody. Everybody, for men to start wearing skirts and dresses and feel good in their skin.
100%. Well, I know you've been to many a Met Gala throughout your career, and you were recently quoted in Page Six about the Marilyn Monroe dress controversy with Kim Kardashian. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, I haven't been to the Met Gala in a long time. I went when I was at CFDA, and we would always have a table and bring a bunch of designers, you know, and prior to even that, I used to go when they had the after parties where young people could afford to buy a ticket and see the exhibit and dance, and then see all the hoi polloi coming out of the dinner part, you know, and you'd stand there and go, one day I'm going to want to be one of those people,
Right.
You know, and one day I became one of those people. But I haven't gone to the gala in a long time. Excuse me. But to the point of the Page Six piece, you know, it was interesting. I was asked what I thought about her wearing that dress, and I really feel strongly that that dress should be in a museum. Being in Ripley's, believe it or not, just doesn't kind of ring like the Metropolitan Museum or FIT's museum. You know, it's a tourist place, and the fact that it was loaned to her, sold to her, or whatever, I don't really know the truth, because there's a lot of stories floating around about that. Ripley's, you know, has made many comments after all this press has come out. But I mean, I've seen that dress before at somebody's apartment who had a huge collection of unbelievable things from auctions, you know, including like the motorcycle from Easy Rider, and, you know, Muhammad Ali's, you know, boxing trunks. And in this case, this was in an apartment in the Sherry Netherlands at the roof, or at the Pierre. And Marilyn Monroe's dress was there on a mannequin. And I mean, it's tiny, and the sequins, you could see the dress was like sheer as anything. And it was odd when I saw it on Kim, it almost didn't look as sheer. And I mean, I just think it was wrong. I mean, it's I don't know the truth to whether it was destroyed or whether sequins fell off or whether it was ripped in the back. I thought it was funny that she had that fur piece holding it around her fanny the whole time, which kind of meant that she was covering up something, you know. And we all know Kim has a large booty.
Yes.
And there's no way that she was the same size as Marilyn. I mean, I'm more interested to know what diet she did to lose, you know, 13 pounds in 2 weeks or whatever it was. But you know, she got a lot of flack for it, and then if she had a copy made to change into after 15 minutes, I mean, she could have worn the copy the whole time, and it still would have said it's an homage to Marilyn Monroe's dress. And people would have gotten that without having to wear the real one.
So what happens now that there is this rumored damage? Like, what happens to a dress like this now, Dad?
Ripley's has it back, and I don't know if it's back on display wherever they display it. I guess in LA or something. I don't know, but I think it's put the kibosh on celebrities wearing like historic, relevant clothes that really need to be preserved.
I think so too. Is there something in your career, like you've done it all, is there a part of the business that you feel, I haven't done this, I still want to do this?
Well, you know, one of the things we're working on now, which I'm excited about, is the series is trying to create a streaming series of these talks, working with Jonathan Gray, who's a producer and an old friend, and he's the man behind the movie The Eye Has to Travel, the Diana Vreeland movie. And he and a team has been assembled, and they're putting together some work for the fashion icons to become something that you could stream on TV. And that I'm very excited about. And I hope that that all can be announced at some point soon. So we'll see. But that would be great because there's so much content. You know, all I hear is people looking for content. Well, hello, I've got a lot of content. I mean, these interviews are the definitive interviews of most of these people's lives. Nobody has done this. You know, I mean, Oscar de la Renta, it's one of the last interviews he did before he passed away. You know, having Andre Leon Talley's interview is, you know, remarkable. You know, the Bill Cunningham, when Bill passed away, we replayed that interview online and let people watch it, you know, for a limited time. There's so many great stories in these and so much to learn from each of these talks.
Yeah.
How do you do it? My premise is that these people are not just a name on a label. You know, what was your mother like? What was your father? You know, what were your siblings like? How did you grow up? What was your bedroom like? You know, that's the stuff that interests me, not this collection versus that collection. You know, and when you got your first order, who did you call? You know, how did you, you know, how much money did you need to start the business?
Right.
Those are questions that, you know, the audience, you know, and I hope young people who are interested in careers in fashion and so forth would really listen and pay attention to. You know, Marc Jacobs talked about his third bankruptcy, you know, and I looked at the audience, I said, did you hear that? He's been bankrupt 3 times, had to close the business. And yet, you know, that passion doesn't go away. You still reinvent and go back and do it again. I remember asking him, do you still have the same lawyer? And he said, yep.
Wow. What would people be shocked to find out about you?
Oh God. What a good and bad question that is. I don't know. I think I'm pretty much an open book. You know, I don't really have the secret life of Fern, you know, hidden away in a room upstairs with, you know, chains and belts. You know, I'm very open and forthcoming, and you know, and I'm much nicer than people think I am. You know, people have always been afraid of me, and then once they talk to me, they go, "Oh my God, you're so nice." I mean, I get that all the time, and that's one of the mantras that I give out when I talk. I said, you know, what advice do you have for people? I say, be nice. You know, people want to work with people that are nice. You know, I mean, and even the book part, the book launch, the book signing that you were at, Peter Lichtenthal came with his partner, his husband, and he used to be the head of Bumble and Bumble, and before that at Mac, and he's retired now. And he bought a book, and I signed it to him, and he said, you know, I have to tell you, when I was at Mac, he said, early on in my career, we were doing stuff at the tents and whatever. He said, you were so nice to me and so helpful. He said, you were really nice and treated me so nicely. He said, I'll never forget it. It meant so much.